My name is Sandra Heron. I'm 49. At 1:12 a.m. on a Tuesday in October, I was standing in the Precinct 7 lobby watching my 16-year-old son Eli get fingerprinted for aggravated assault, a crime he didn't commit, while my stepmother Danielle sat 40 feet away in the victim's waiting area with a wrist brace she'd bought at CVS 3 hours earlier and a bruise on her cheek she'd shown off at church 2 days before the attack. "Mom, I didn't touch her," Eli said for the ninth time, his voice cracking. The officer doing the prints didn't look up. Danielle's voice carried across the lobby, soft, wounded, practiced. I loved that boy from the beginning. I don't know what I did to make him hate me so much. My father stood next to her, one hand on her shoulder. He wouldn't look at me, hadn't looked at me since the patrol car pulled up to their house at 12:47 a.m. The officer handed Eli a tissue for the ink. "Your son's being charged as a juvenile, but given the severity of the injuries and the witness statement, the DA might push for adult court." "What injuries?" I said. My voice came out flat. "She was at Bella's boutique at 4:30 this afternoon. I have her debit card receipt. She drove herself. Signed the slip. If her wrist was so injured she couldn't defend herself, how was she shopping for jewelry?" The officer finally looked at me. "Ma'am, we have a police report filed at 11:52 p.m. The victim states your son attacked her during an argument about curfew. She's lying. Ma'am, she fabricated journal entries on my son's laptop. She filed a false police report. She's wearing a brace she purchased after she called 911, and the bruise you're documenting was visible in a photograph taken at Hillside Community Church on Sunday morning during the 9 a.m. service. It's October 15th. That's 48 hours before this alleged attack." The officer set down his clipboard. "Do you have proof of these claims?" I pulled out my worn brown notebook. Inside, printed debit card statements, time-stamped church directory photo showing Danielle's left cheek, yellowish-green bruise clearly visible as she smiled next to the pastor. CVS receipt for one Ace wrist brace, size medium, purchased at 8:47 p.m., 3 hours and 5 minutes before she called 911. "I have proof," I said, "and I have a witness." Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. Let me take you back 6 years to the first time I met Danielle. It was April, and my father had called me to his house, the house where I grew up, where my mother had died 8 years earlier from ovarian cancer. He said he had someone special he wanted me to meet. I drove over with Eli, who was 10 at the time and obsessed with collecting bottle caps. He had 127 of them, organized by color, in a tackle box. Danielle opened the door before I could knock. She was 52, blonde, wearing a cream cardigan and pearl earrings. She smelled like vanilla and something sharper, hairspray maybe, or the kind of perfume that comes in a gold bottle. "You must be Sandy," she said, and pulled me into a hug I hadn't asked for. "Greg has told me so much about you. And this must be Eli." She bent down to his level. "I heard you like bottle caps. I saved you some from my sparkling water. They're limited edition." Eli's face lit up. He looked at me for permission. I nodded. My father appeared in the hallway behind her, smiling in a way I hadn't seen since before my mother got sick. "Danny's been helping me organize the house," he said. "She's a miracle worker." I should have paid attention to the details. The way she touched my father's arm. The way she'd already moved a few of her things into the living room. A throw pillow, a framed photo of a garden, a lavender candle on the mantel. The way she called him Greg, not Mr. Heron. They'd been dating for 4 months. He married her 6 weeks later. At the wedding, small ceremony, just family, Danielle gave a speech. "I know I can never replace Sandra and Eli's mother," she said, voice trembling just enough. "But I promise to love this family with everything I have. Greg, Sandy, Eli, you're my whole world now." I believed her. I wanted to believe her. The first betrayal came 3 months after the wedding. I was at their house for Sunday dinner. Eli was in the backyard throwing a football with my father. I was helping Danielle clear the table when she stopped, turned to me, and said, "I need to talk to you about something sensitive." My stomach dropped. "Is Dad okay?" "He's fine. It's about the money." "What money?" She pulled out her phone and showed me a bank statement. My father's account. $2,400 withdrawn on August 9th. Another $1,800 on August 14th. Then $3,200 on August 22nd. "I didn't take that," I said immediately. "I know this is hard," Danielle said, her voice so soft, so kind. "But you're the only one with access to his account besides me. Your name is still on it from when you helped him after your mom passed. I haven't touched that account in 2 years. Sandy," and she put her hand on mine. "I'm not accusing you. I'm trying to help. If you're struggling financially, we can work something out. But this can't continue." "I didn't take anything." She showed me another document. A jewelry store receipt. $4,150 charged to my father's credit card on August 28th. The signature at the bottom looked like mine. Wasn't mine. Was close enough. "This is fraud," I said. "I agree," Danielle said. "That's why I think we should handle this privately. No police. No lawyers, just family." My father walked in from the backyard. "Everything okay?" Danielle's eyes filled with tears. She pressed a hand to her chest. "I hate this, Greg. I hate having to show you this. But Sandy and I were just talking about these withdrawals. I didn't take anything," I said again. My father looked at the bank statement, looked at me. "Sandy, I need you to be honest." "I am being honest. Your name is on the account." "I know, but I haven't—" "The jewelry receipt has your signature." "That's not my signature. Look at it. The S is wrong. The spacing is wrong." Danielle touched my father's arm gently. "Maybe we should give her some time to think. This is a lot to process." My father's voice went quiet. Final. "I think you should go." I left. Drove home with Eli asking, "Mom, why is Grandpa mad?" I couldn't answer. My hands were shaking too hard to hold the wheel steady. 2 days later, my father's sister Paula Jean called me. "I heard what happened," she said. "I don't believe it for a second." "Thank you," I said, and started crying. "I've been watching Danielle," Paula Jean said. "Something's not right. She's too perfect, too helpful. I saw her at the bank last week, and when I said hello, she pretended not to hear me. Dad won't listen to me. Give it time. Truth has a way of surfacing." But time didn't help. It made things worse. Over the next 3 months, the rumors spread. My father told his poker group I'd stolen from him. Someone told someone else. By November, I couldn't go to the grocery store without people staring. My boss at the property management office where I'd worked for 11 years called me into his office. "Sandy, I need to ask you something uncomfortable," he said. "Are you having financial trouble?" "No, because if you are, we have resources, employee assistance programs." "I'm fine." He looked at his desk. "Someone called HR, said you'd been accused of stealing from family. I have to ask, is there anything you want to tell me?" I quit 2 weeks later, couldn't stand the whispers, couldn't stand the way my coworkers stopped talking when I entered the break room. I checked my bank account on a Thursday morning in December. $947. That was it. Rent was $1,350. Eli needed new shoes. The car needed an oil change. I applied for 14 jobs, got called back for 3 interviews. At the second interview, office assistant at a dental clinic, the hiring manager said, "I have to ask. I heard you had some trouble at your last position." "I quit," I said. "Right. But before that." I didn't get the job. I finally found work at Riverside Guardianship Advocates, a nonprofit that helped vulnerable adults navigate the legal system. The pay was $16.50 an hour, less than half what I'd been making. But the director, a woman named Claire, didn't ask about my past. She asked if I was good with organizing files and following up on details. I'm very good at that, I said. Then you're hired. I started volunteering extra hours, helping clients build their cases, restraining orders, protective custody, financial exploitation claims. I learned how evidence worked, what courts needed, how to document everything. That's where I was, reorganizing a client's bank statements in the basement office, when Danielle walked in. It was a Tuesday in February, 3:40 p.m. I was alone. She stood in the doorway holding a coffee cup, dressed in a pale pink blazer and white pants. She looked around the cramped office, at the folding table I used as a desk, at the stack of donated 3-ring binders in the corner. "So, this is where you ended up," she said. I didn't stand up. "How did you find me?" "I ran into Claire at the farmer's market. She mentioned you worked here." Danielle stepped inside. "I wanted to check on you, make sure you were okay." "I'm fine. This place is—" She trailed off, smiling sadly. "Well, it's something." "What do you want, Danielle?" "I want to help. Your father and I have been talking. We think it might be time to move past what happened. Forgive and forget." "I didn't do anything that needs forgiving." "Sandy?" She sat down across from me, uninvited. "I know things have been hard for you. Losing your job, this." She gestured at the office. "I don't want there to be tension between us. Eli deserves to have his grandfather in his life." "Eli has his grandfather. You're the one who—" "I've tried so hard," Danielle said, and her eyes filled instantly. Her voice broke in exactly the right place. "I've prayed every night for healing in this family. I just want us to be okay." The door opened. Claire walked in with 2 other staff members. All 3 of them saw Danielle crying, saw me sitting there, stone-faced. "Is everything all right?" Claire asked. "I'm fine," Danielle said quickly, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue she'd already had in her hand. "I just came to see Sandy. We're family. I worry about her." She left. The office felt smaller after she was gone. Claire didn't say anything, but I saw her expression. The same look I'd seen at the property management office, at the grocery store, at Eli's parent-teacher conferences. Something had cracked open inside me, not anger, something colder. That night, I went home and opened the box I'd kept under my bed since my mother died. Insurance papers, medical records. And at the bottom, a stack of letters my mother had written to me during her last year, when she was too weak to talk but still wanted to tell me things. I pulled out the one dated March 14th, 3 weeks before she passed. "My dear Sandy," it began. "If you're reading this, then I'm gone and you're facing something hard. I wish I could be there to help you fight it, but I taught you to be strong and I taught you to be smart. Don't let anyone make you small. Don't let anyone rewrite your story. You know who you are. Make them see it." I read it 3 times. The next morning, I started building my own case. I requested my father's bank statements going back 2 years. I was still listed as an authorized user, so the bank sent them. I compared the withdrawals Danielle had shown me against the actual records. 7 withdrawals she'd claimed I made were on days when I'd been working. I had badge swipe records, time cards, emails sent from my work computer at the exact times the ATM withdrawals were made. The jewelry store signature was harder, but I went to the store myself, showed them my ID, asked if they kept security footage. They did. August 28th, 2:17 p.m. Danielle at the counter, signing the receipt. Not me. I made copies, labeled everything, put it in a blue 3-ring binder with dividers. Then I waited. In May, my father called. "Danielle and I are going out of town for our anniversary," he said. 2 weeks in Europe. We were hoping Eli could stay at the house, keep an eye on things. "Sure," I said. Eli was excited. 16 years old, loved his grandfather, missed spending time at the house. I drove him over on a Saturday morning. Danielle answered the door in a white linen dress, smiling her perfect smile. "Eli, sweetheart, thank you so much for doing this," she said. "Your grandfather and I will bring you back something special." "Thanks, Danielle." She handed him a list. "Just basic things. Water the plants, bring in the mail. Oh, and don't go in the study. Your grandfather has some important papers spread out for a work project. That was a mistake. Telling a teenager not to go somewhere. 3 days into their trip, Eli called me. Mom, I think you should come over. What's wrong? Just come over. I drove to my father's house. Eli met me at the door holding a stack of printed emails. I wasn't snooping, he said immediately. I was looking for the Wi-Fi password in the study and the printer was on and these were in the tray. I took the papers, read them. Draft emails from Danielle to herself, dated over the past 8 months. Each one written as if from me, apologizing for stealing, admitting to financial desperation, begging for forgiveness. Mom, what is this? I sat down on the couch, read through every page. Danielle had been building a narrative, a story where I was the villain and she was the patient, forgiving saint. She's been planning this, I said quietly. Planning what? To make sure no one believes me if I fight back. Eli sat next to me. Are you going to fight back? I looked at my son. 16. Good kid. Honor roll. Worked part-time at the movie theater saving money for college. He believed me. That was enough. Yes, I said. I took the emails. Added them to my binder. 2 weeks later, my father and Danielle came home. I didn't mention the emails. Didn't mention anything. Just smiled and asked how Europe was. Wonderful, Danielle said. We brought Eli a snow globe from Paris. That's nice. Everything was normal. Perfect. Until it wasn't. In August, 1 year after Danielle had first accused me, my father called with a proposal. I've been thinking, he said, about what happened last year. I want to put it behind us. But I need to know you understand the severity of what you did. I didn't do anything. Sandy, please. I'm trying to extend an olive branch here. Danielle suggested we work out a payment plan. You pay back what you took and we move forward. No lawyers, no police. How much does she think I took? $23,400 over 8 months. I did the math in my head. Rent, car payment, groceries, Eli's expenses on $16.50 an hour. I don't have $23,000. We're not asking for it all at once. $400 a month for 5 years. I didn't take the money. His voice hardened. Then we'll have to pursue legal action. You're going to sue me? I don't want to. But Danielle showed me the evidence, the signatures, the withdrawals. I can't ignore it anymore. I hung up. 3 days later, I got a letter from a lawyer. Demand for repayment. Threat of civil suit. Copy sent to Eli's school, to my workplace, to Paula Jean. Paula Jean called me that night. I got the letter, she said. I know. This is insane. Greg's lost his mind. He believes her. Because she's good at this, Paula Jean said. I've been watching her, Sandy. She's meticulous. Every story she tells, every tear she cries, it's calculated. But she makes mistakes, little ones. Like what? Like her timeline. She told Greg she was too injured to drive after you supposedly stole her credit card in June. But I saw her at Target that same afternoon buying picture frames. She was fine. Do you have proof? I have my dash cam footage. I was parked 3 spaces away. Something shifted in my chest. Can you send me that? Already did. Check your email. I opened my laptop. There it was. Video file. June 14th, 3:47 p.m. Danielle walking through the Target parking lot. No limp, no brace. Carrying 2 shopping bags and laughing on her phone. I added it to my binder. The lawsuit moved forward. Mediation scheduled for October. I couldn't afford a lawyer, so I filed pro se, represented myself, brought my binder to every meeting. The mediator, a woman named Marcia, looked through my evidence. Bank records, work time cards, security footage, dash cam video, computer forensic screenshots showing the draft emails on Danielle's laptop. This is substantial, Marcia said. Why didn't you bring this forward sooner? No one was listening. I'm listening now. She called a second meeting, invited my father and Danielle, told them I had evidence that contradicted their claims. Danielle's face didn't change. She smiled sadly and said, "Of course Sandy has a story. She's always been good at stories." "These aren't stories," Marcia said. "These are documents. Documents can be faked." Marcia projected the dashcam footage on the screen. Showed Danielle at Target, timestamp and GPS coordinates visible. "This was the day you claimed to be bedridden from injuries Sandy allegedly caused," Marcia said. "I was having a good day," Danielle said smoothly. "Pain comes and goes." "And this?" Marcia showed the draft emails. "These were found on your computer. Sandy must have hacked my laptop." My father was silent, staring at the screen. Marcia looked at me. "Do you have anything else?" I pulled out the final document. Cell phone location data I'd subpoenaed from Danielle's carrier. She'd used my father's family plan, and as an authorized account user, I had legal access to request records. On September 3rd, Danielle filed a police report claiming I'd broken into her car and stolen $600 from her purse at 2:15 p.m. while she was at a doctor's appointment, I said. Her phone's GPS data shows she was at Bella's boutique from 1:50 to 3:20 p.m. that day, not at a doctor's office. The boutique security footage shows her shopping. Her credit card statement shows she spent $680 on jewelry. There was no theft. She needed to explain the charge. Danielle stood up. "I don't have to sit here and listen to this." "Yes, you do," Marcia said. "Sit down." But Danielle was already walking toward the door. "If you leave, I'm recommending the court pursue perjury charges," Marcia said. Danielle stopped, turned. "You can't prove any of this." "I can prove all of it," I said quietly. "I have your laptop's forensic image. I have timestamp security footage from 4 different locations. I have bank statements showing you've transferred $47,300 from my father's account to your personal account over 14 months. I have jewelry receipts you signed with my name. I have voice memos you recorded practicing crying. I have your Amazon purchase history showing you bought the same wrist brace 3 times, always right before you claimed someone hurt you." The room was completely silent. My father looked at Danielle. "Is this true?" She didn't answer. That was the moment I realized she wasn't going to confess. She was going to escalate. 2 weeks later, on October 14th at 11:52 p.m., Danielle called 911. The story she told the police was this. Eli had come over to the house to borrow my father's car. She'd said no because it was late and Eli didn't have his license yet. Eli had gotten angry, pushed her, grabbed her wrist when she tried to call for help, hit her across the face. The police arrested Eli at our apartment at 12:47 a.m. At 1:12 a.m., I was standing in the precinct lobby with my evidence binder, telling an officer that everything Danielle said was a lie. But the DA charged Eli anyway. Aggravated assault on a family member. Juvenile detention hearing set for October 29th. I had 15 days to prove my son's innocence. I went back to the evidence. Found the church photo showing Danielle's bruise 2 days before she claimed Eli hit her. Found the CVS receipt for the wrist brace purchased 3 hours after she filed the police report. Found her debit card statement showing she'd been shopping at Bella's boutique at 4:30 p.m., the same day she later claimed she was too injured to drive. I sent everything to the public defender assigned to Eli's case, a young attorney named Marcus who looked overwhelmed. "This is good," Marcus said. "But the court's going to want more than documents. They're going to want testimony." "I'll testify." "You're his mother. They'll expect you to defend him." "Then who?" Marcus looked at the evidence list. "Who's Paula Jean?" I called her that night. "I'll testify," Paula Jean said immediately. "I'll tell them exactly what I've seen." The hearing was set for October 29th at 2 p.m. in juvenile court, Judge Whitmore presiding. I wore a gray suit I'd bought at Goodwill. Eli wore the only button-down shirt he owned. We sat at the defendant's table with Marcus. Across the aisle, my father and Danielle with the prosecutor, a woman named Ms. Vance. The courtroom was packed, 32 people in the gallery, court staff, social workers, Paula Jean in the third row, Danielle's church friends in the back. Judge Whitmore, a black woman in her 60s with silver glasses, called the hearing to order. Ms. Vance stood. Your Honor, this is a straightforward case. The defendant, Eli Heron, assaulted his step-grandmother during a verbal altercation. The victim has documented injuries. We have her sworn statement. We're asking the court to remand the defendant to juvenile detention pending psychological evaluation. Mr. Marcus? The judge said. Marcus stood. Your Honor, the alleged victim has a documented history of fabricating evidence and filing false reports. We have substantial proof that this assault never occurred. Objection, Ms. Vance said. The defense is making unsubstantiated claims. They're not unsubstantiated, Marcus said. We have video, we have forensic evidence, we have timeline inconsistencies. Judge Whitmore looked over her glasses. I'll hear it. Proceed. Marcus called me to the stand first. I took the oath, sat down, looked at Danielle. She was crying softly, tissue pressed to her nose. Ms. Vance questioned me first. Ms. Heron, you're aware your son was arrested for assaulting Ms. Danielle Heron? Yes. And you believe your son is innocent? I know he's innocent. Because he's your son? Because the evidence proves he's innocent. What evidence? I pulled out my binder. The bruise Ms. Danielle claims Eli inflicted on October 14th was visible in a photograph taken at Hillside Community Church on October 12th during the 9 a.m. service. Here's the photo. Here's the church bulletin showing the date. Here's a sworn statement from the photographer. Ms. Vance took the documents. Bruises can darken over time. This bruise was yellowish-green, healing, not fresh. What else? Ms. Danielle purchased the wrist brace she's wearing at CVS on October 14th at 8:47 p.m. Here's the receipt. The alleged assault occurred at 11:40 p.m. If her wrist was already injured enough to need a brace before the assault, why did she wait 3 hours to call 911? Marcus stood. Your Honor, I'd like to present additional evidence. He set up a laptop, projected the screen onto the courtroom wall. First image. Danielle's debit card statement. October 14th, 4:30 p.m. Bella's Boutique. $340 purchase. Signature on file. Ms. Danielle claimed she was too injured to drive after the alleged assault, Marcus said. But she was shopping that afternoon, driving, signing credit card receipts. Second image. Security footage from Bella's Boutique showing Danielle trying on necklaces, both hands working fine, no brace, no limp. Third image. Paula Jean's dashcam footage from June, showing Danielle walking through a parking lot the same day she'd claimed to be bedridden. Fourth image. Forensic screenshots of Danielle's laptop showing draft emails written as if from me, confessing to theft I didn't commit. Fifth image. Cell phone location data showing Danielle at Bella's Boutique when she'd claimed to be at a doctor's office. The courtroom was silent except for the hum of the projector. Ms. Vance stood slowly. Your Honor, we were not made aware of this evidence. We sent it to your office 4 days ago, Marcus said. Certified mail. Judge Whitmore looked at the prosecutor. Did you review this? We received a package, but did you review it? No, Your Honor. The judge turned to Danielle. Ms. Heron, you're under oath. Do you wish to revise your statement? Danielle stood, tissue still in hand. Your Honor, I don't know what kind of games are being played here, but I was attacked. I have injuries. I have witnesses. What witnesses? My husband. He saw. Your husband wasn't home during the alleged assault, Marcus said. According to the police report, he arrived 20 minutes after it occurred. He saw the aftermath. He saw you wearing a brace you'd purchased earlier that evening and displaying a bruise you'd had for 2 days. Danielle's voice rose. This is ridiculous. I loved Eli from the beginning. I've prayed every night for healing in this family. I've done everything. You've done a lot of things, Marcus said quietly. Filed false police reports, fabricated journal entries, forged signatures, stolen $47,300 from Gregory Heron's bank account. But you haven't told the truth. My father stood up in the gallery. That's a lie. Mr. Heron, sit down, Judge Whitmore said. She wouldn't. I said sit. He sat. Marcus pulled up one more image. Bank statements going back 18 months. Highlighted every transfer from my father's account to Danielle's personal account. $2,400, $1,800, $3,200, $4,100, all the amounts Danielle had claimed I stole. These transfers were made by Ms. Danielle Heron, Marcus said. We have the bank's internal records showing her login credentials. We have timestamps. Every single withdrawal she accused Sandra Heron of making was actually made by Danielle herself. Danielle's face had gone completely white. Your Honor, she said, voice shaking now. I can explain. I don't think you can, Judge Whitmore said. Paula Jean stood up in the gallery. Your Honor, may I speak? Who are you? Paula Jean Heron, Gregory's sister. I've known Danielle for 6 years, and I've watched her destroy my niece's reputation with lies. I have dashcam footage, witness statements, and documentation of every false claim she's made. Sandra didn't steal anything. Eli didn't assault anyone. Danielle is a liar. The courtroom erupted. Whispers. Gasps. Someone in the back row said, "Oh my God." Danielle grabbed her purse. I don't have to listen to this. You're not dismissed, Judge Whitmore said sharply. I'm leaving. If you leave this courtroom before I dismiss you, I will issue a bench warrant for contempt and refer this case to the DA for criminal fraud charges. Danielle froze halfway to the door. Judge Whitmore looked at Ms. Vance. Do you wish to proceed with the assault charge? Ms. Vance looked at her notes, looked at the projected evidence, looked at Danielle. No, Your Honor, the state withdraws the charge. Motion granted. Eli Heron, you're free to go. The judge turned to Danielle. Ms. Heron, I'm forwarding this evidence to the prosecutor's office for review. I strongly suggest you consult an attorney. Then she looked at my father. Mr. Heron, you've been defrauded. I recommend you review your financial accounts and consider whether you want to press charges. My father didn't respond. He was staring at the bank statements on the screen. I stood, walked to Eli. He was crying. I put my arms around him. Marcus handed me a folder. Copies of everything, he said, in case you need them later. Thank you. We left, walked out of the courthouse into the October afternoon. Paula Jean followed us out, hugged us both. You did it, she said. We did it, I said. Eli looked at me. Is it really over? For you, yes. For Danielle, no. And 3 weeks later, the DA charged Danielle with filing false police reports, fraud, and identity theft. My father filed for divorce. He called me on a Thursday night. I'm sorry, he said. I know. I should have listened. Yes. Can you forgive me? I thought about that. I can forgive you for being fooled. I can't forgive you for choosing her over me when I showed you proof. That's fair. We didn't talk for 6 months after that. Danielle pled guilty to avoid trial. Got 2 years probation, $50,000 in restitution to my father, and a permanent restraining order keeping her away from me and Eli. I never saw her again. 6 months after the hearing, I was sitting in my new apartment, small 1-bedroom in a better neighborhood, paid for with the back pay my father sent as part of the restitution, organizing files for a client. Eli was in his room studying for the SAT. He'd gotten a 1,340 on the practice test. His guidance counselor said he had a shot at state schools with scholarships. Paula Jean had sent me a photo that morning, her and my father at a diner, both smiling. The caption said, "Talking some sense into him. Slow progress." I opened my laptop, checked my email, a message from Claire at Riverside Guardianship Advocates. Sandy, we have a position opening up. Case manager, full-time, $52,000 salary, benefits. I can't think of anyone better for it. Interested? I wrote back. Yes. That evening, I drove to the cemetery where my mother was buried, brought jasmine flowers, her favorite, sat on the bench near her headstone. I did it, Mom, I said. I made them see. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves. The sun was setting, orange and pink across the horizon. I thought about the line from her letter. Don't let anyone rewrite your story. You know who you are. Make them see it. I'd made them see it. Not with anger, not with drama, with evidence, with patience. With 3-ring binders and highlighters and dashcam footage and forensic screenshots. The truth didn't need a performance. It just needed documentation. If you're watching this, and you've ever been accused of something you didn't do, I want you to know something. Your silence won't protect you. Your compliance won't earn you peace. The people who are lying about you are counting on you being too tired, too scared, or too polite to fight back. Document everything, save every receipt, record every conversation where it's legal, build your case quietly, don't announce what you're doing, don't give them a chance to destroy the evidence. And when the time comes, when you're standing in that courtroom or that meeting or that intervention, let the evidence speak. Stay calm, stay factual. Don't yell, don't cry, don't beg them to believe you. Just show them the receipts. If you've had to build a case to defend yourself against someone you trusted, type, "I have the receipts," in the comments. Or if you're still gathering evidence, type, "I'm building my case." Both are valid. Both are brave. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories, just like this one. Thank you for being here.